Hi guys, I wanted to get on here and make a quick video regarding a message that I just heard. I was in the house here getting ready to go out and do some running around, and I was listening to my motivational things, catching up on some of the videos that I listened to. And this morning I was listening to Brian Scott of the Reality Revolution. He's here on YouTube if you guys want to go check him out. And today I caught up on his video, Chief Indefinite Aim, and I listened to it. And most oftentimes when I listen to motivational videos from speakers that I like, the content will resonate with me and bring up things, and I have my own reaction and thoughts on it, and I share it with people sometime because that's my currency, my wisdom. I've lived long enough and to have a story or at least a piece of advice for anything anybody may be going through, and I offer myself for that. So I was getting ready. I'm about to walk out the door, and I get this text from one of my old friends, and it said, if you're in the hood, which it means our old neighborhood. I grew up in East Atlanta, original certified East Atlantan, and she wanted to know if I was going to be in the hood, could I let her borrow some money? And I was saying to myself, like, girl, you know I don't have no money for you, but I do have a piece of advice. So what is your plan? What do you have? And so this is what I'm here to talk about. So in relation to a chief indefinite aim, I think we all should, if not for ourselves, for our children and anyone that we come in contact with, ask them, get into their plans and ask them, like, what are your thoughts on your career, your future? What are the things that you're going to be, what are the things you're gathering to make of yourself, meaning your talents, your interests, your, whatever it is that you have that you believe will contribute to you being a productive citizen in society. So without having that specific title for it, Chief Indefinite Aim, which Brian Scott credits to Napoleon Hill, I believe. What my dad did tell us was, he tell us all the time that we are all walking reactions, meaning that make sure that whatever chemicals you're putting in your reaction, yourself, because along the way in life, along your journey, they're going to be catalysts. They're going to be people or things that are going to drop in your reaction, and that has the tendency to either take you forward or backward depending on what your experience is. So he's always saying this: walk that way, meaning whatever thought you have, whatever plan you have, make sure you are always walking that way. So like Habakkuk 2:2 says, make the vision or write the vision and make it plain and write it down so that whoever sees it can run off with it. So it's kind of like, always have your thoughts in your mind. Make your thoughts deliberate, meaning focus on your thoughts. Why not be deliberate about your thoughts? Why not be deliberate about your plans? Why not be deliberate about what you let in your spirit, what you let speak to you? For instance, people mindlessly stroll their phones, and I'm not saying I'm above that. I do it as well. However, getting caught up in things that will not have any effect on you, it's merely a distraction. So why not focus on the things that you want to focus on? Focus on heading and walking that way that you're trying to go, which will help yourself. So which brings me to this story about where I got veered all off at about my friend. So for the sake of this video, because I know it's not going to go viral, but I just wanted to have a name to say. I'm just going to call her Keisha. So Keisha grew up in the hood with me. We both Grady babies. We grew up in East Atlanta. Well, Keisha started having children young. So by the time we were in our early 20s, or middle 20s, she had already had 6 children. And I can't remember what year this was when she had the 6 kids. So she was living in her grandmother's house. So she was basically raised by her grandmother. Her mother lived in a project somewhere. And rest in peace, her mother died. I can't remember when her mother died, but she didn't have a good relationship with her mother. So she lived in the house with her grandmother. Her grandmother owned the home. So many, many years ago, when this gentrification started, there are groups and people and realty companies that were coming through the hood, and they were offering a lot of the elders there second mortgages or reverse mortgages or all these type of things that ultimately, over 20 something years ago, when they got this money, they thought they were doing something with it. However, over a 25 year span, we now come to know that this was called predatory lending. So they allowed these people to get these seconds or these reverse on these homes, knowing that they couldn't pay the money back. So it was people coming through the hood, doing these things. Her grandmother, smart lady, she's an educator. She was a principal at a school. Her grandmother's a fine lady. And her grandmother had a couple of rental properties downtown off of Boulevard near the hospital that just closed. I want to say that was a Piedmont, but over the years, we knew it as Georgia Baptist, and then it became Tenet Atlanta Medical, and I can't remember what it was when they just closed it. However, Keisha's grandmother had a rental property over there. So Keisha ended up at that time having 2 more children, which would make the total count of kids 8. So the grandmother couldn't get any rest. Every time you would come over to the house to visit Keisha or say or do anything, because she's such a personable person, even though she didn't get as far as she probably wanted to go. She's my friend, and we've been friends a long time. So, there are a lot of people in her life that do things for her and her kids. I'm one of them. We would drop off things or either just come by to just, speak to her grandmother. And her grandmother will always say, you see them kids? She got all these kids. Ain't no daddies around here. Talk to Keisha. Talk to Keisha. Why can't Keisha be like you? She would be going on and on. And Keisha would walk in and be like, shut up, Grandma. Why are you always talking about, it was just an ongoing thing. So the grandmother decided that she had had enough. After Keisha had 2 more, which brought the total to 8, she said, you know what? I'm going to go live in my rental property, the house down off of Boulevard. So she goes and moves into that house, gives Keisha the house. Now, in light of what I just told you a few minutes ago about the predatory lending and everything, imagine someone that doesn't have a job. Keisha didn't have jobs for years. She started working in retail, and I think that she got a couple of shoplifting charges, and which a lot of employers, when they see that on your record, they won't hire you. And then, just having kids over the years, she just didn't go and do very much. So having this house, it was such a blessing, because the house's legacy, Keisha grew up in the house. Her mother and their siblings grew up in the house. The house had been in the family for 40 or 50 years. So Keisha gets in the house, meets this guy. the last love of her life, and had 2 more children with this man, which brought the total to 10. This guy convinced her that she could sell this house, get her about $100,000, and they would have their startup plan for, I can't remember what it was. It's been 2010, 2011. So against everyone's advice, against her grandmother's, her grandmother was sick behind this. Keisha sold that house, and I don't know exactly the dollar amount she got, but it wasn't enough to sustain her for the rest of her life. And I don't know what she was thinking, and she would never be able to get that house or any other house over there again. But she got above 100,000. I know that much. The first thing she went and did, she went and bought her a truck. She paid over $50,000 for a GMC Suburban, some kind of, with all the bells and whistles on it, brand new. She had the title to it. She went, when she moved, they allowed her 30 days to stay in the house. They allowed her to just stay there for 30 days so she can decide where she wanted to move. So she decided she was going to move to Cobb County. She got a rental house that she moved in. I think she was paying something like $1,200 to $1,500 a month. I had never been to the house. So she got missing for 2 years while she stayed out there in this rental house. She surfaced 2 years later. On the 3rd year she had been in the house, she was trying to keep it. She had run out of money, and she had title loaned her GMC. So she was calling around, asking people that we, mutually know, can someone help her, because the boyfriend that she was dealing with, who she no longer deals with, had convinced her to put the truck in a auto shop, to allow the auto shop to put a lien on the truck so that she wouldn't get it taken from the title loan people. Something I don't know nothing about, but this is what happened. I know that she put the truck in this shop, or the guy put a lien on the truck. I think he put a lien on. I think she kept driving it, and he had put a lien on it or something like that. And then something happened with the truck, where the truck was on location at this guy's auto shop. So she calls me and she's like, listen, can you help me? Or do you know somebody? Because this guy won't give me my truck back. And I'm like, what do you mean he won't give you your truck back? She says they came up with some scheme. I remember a long time ago. I'm going to veer off into these related stories, because that's what I do. Anyway, long time ago, I used to watch Judge Judy all the time. I was obsessed with her. And on one of her shows, she was telling somebody, she said they were in the process of a crime or something or that or another. And the person basically didn't get their share of whatever they were doing, and brought the person to court. And Judge Judy said, have you heard of the rule of clean hands? And he didn't. I hadn't heard of it. I was just intently watching. But anyway, in essence, she was saying that both their hands were dirty. So she wasn't going to rule on that case, because he was in the process of doing something he wasn't supposed to do. So therefore, neither one of them will be getting anything, although both of them had good cases and presented evidence that they were owed money. So in the case with Keisha, she let this guy put the lien on the car to keep it from the title loan people in some type of way, form, or fashion. Anyway, she never got the truck back. The next year, she ended up moving out of the house, and guess where she moved to?